Thank you, Archie. Thank you so much for being here. So, so before we continue, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Christine, and my co-host here is Regine. We're both from Beacons of Light, and I'd like to welcome Arch DeLeon. And thank you for being here. He's a modern day babaylan, and he has channeled ancient wisdom through yoga, meditation, and life coaching. So, with over 25 years of experience, Arch guides individual towards self-discovery and holistic wellness. He founded the highly acclaimed Halikana Workshop, offering to small group immersive experiences both in person and online. So these workshops embody the ancient Babaylan transmission, fostering personal connection, healing, and growth. So through these teachings, books, and podcasts, Arch de Leon continues to inspire and uplift, inviting you to embark on a transformative journey of inner discovery and endless possibilities. So, welcome,
Wow.
Arch.
Thank you
Welcome,
so much.
Ian.
Thank you so much.
Thank,
Thank you so much. Wow.
thank you so
Wow.
much for being here. So, we have questions for you, and Regine may want to start with the questions.
Yes. So Arch, I have a question for you, and the first question is, what inspired the creation of Halikana Workshop, and how does it support mental, physical, and spiritual well-being?
Okay. Thank you for the question. Okay, so let me actually tackle the first one first. Um, there is a calling, and I have been searching for a particular sound, and I thought it was AUM, and I found that and experienced that in yoga, but for some reason, it doesn't take me to that space. I have a pick into that space for a long time, but for some reason, it comes and go, and one time I was called into this space in Berkeley, California, and there is a gathering of Filipino Americans who are retelling the story of our ancestors of Babaylan before the Spanish came. And the story came that an elders holding a child to their hands. It's like some form of baptism, really, So then, um, remembering who they are, where they come from, because they are now in a passage of time and space. They're developing their mind, and so the conditioning start, right? And so before that, somehow the ancient knows this, that they will go into the space of amnesia. They will lose their spontaneity and their pureness, because now they are emerging into collective conditioning, of whatever they come from this at that time into their tribes, right? So they call into this space. As soon as I heard Halikana, Halikana, I whiff. It's like I got hits, into that space. And I knew it. I have to come back home. I knew it. I have to trace back these sounds. I was born here as a spiritista, who was founded by my grandfather, who, since I was born, I was watching healers, and mediums connect to the highest, but I wasn't emerged completely, but I was fascinated. So that means my transmission of information I was prepared at an early age. And I was terrible at school. So I know my mission is somewhere else. So I was being called into always in a temple, and I don't know why. right? And I was always fascinated in all these rituals and out of mind, out of abnormal space, you know. Anyway, so this thing calls me so deep, and I know I have to come back and find out what this is. And I realized it's my password. It is the sound that takes me there into a portal. It's an entry point that I can really completely lose myself, which is really a temporary self they called ego, right? And which is used for survival, you know, collectively. And and I thought I was done with the ego lifestyle. And I'm looking for something deeper. And that's what really the calling. And at that time, I was already established as a yoga teacher, you know, and I travel and I taught classes and I study all kinds of modalities from healing, from all kinds of, I would say, spiritual technologies for of all kinds. But nothing calls me this deep.
Mm.
So in a way, maybe this is the core where I felt I'm being called, you know, and I was always fascinated when they move, you know, into this space. And there is an indigenous part about it, that there is no form. It's just like this unnatural movement when you move, and the breath, right? And I didn't realize that all my life I was being prepared for this. I thought it was a career. I thought, you know how it is. You know, I think the universe has a calling for all of us, but this is my calling. And every experience that I have for a long time, there are a bit of pieces of preparations for this.
Mm.
Now I put it all together now, you
Okay.
know. And yes, and I did not know why am I doing yoga. I was terrible. I have no memory. I can even memorize a sequence. Oh my God, I can even memorize the sequence, and I cannot even perform in front of my teacher because my mind is not based on memory based. It was the
Mm.
algorithm of my brain is all intuition and imagination.
Oh.
That, you know, and that's why I'm different from my brothers, you know, and they're all smart academically, and I, you know, and for some reason I can't find my and and since then this voice was leading the way, you know, and I trusted completely, like what you're saying, Regine, about trust in your own language, you know, and this incredible, you know, there's a word fate, you know, in English, you know, and I don't trust this thing, you know, but now I know what that means. You have to trust what's hold your breath. You have to trust where your mind flows and your thoughts that hold the space. And now I understand what that means, you know, and so what Alikana for me now, it is my calling, a mastery of informations that is weaved to different ancient practice that I have to put together now. It's like a symphony, you know, like a different instrument in a symphony that I have to conduct in a way, in purpose to awaken individual, to invite them into the collective consciousness of awakening. But
Mm.
this thing is demands a lot from me because I have to be first to be activated by the energy itself. You know, I cannot teach from a place of just a concept, or I would say from a trance state. Because in a trance state, when I, like my ancestors do in my own lineage, my generation, is when they do trance, they can't remember nothing. And then people ask what happens, and they cannot explain, right? And so I don't want to do it from that place. I want to do it consciously. I want to do it in a place that I can be able to explain cognitively. This is where quantum
Mm.
community comes in. Isn't that amazing, the
Nice.
timing of it?
Amazing.
Yes,
You
definitely.
know, without the
Yes.
videos, without the explanation, you, Regine, and I always explain, you know, exchanging with all these videos that kind of explain the unseen world, which is all the Babaylan have no way in their
Wow.
time cannot be able to explain it, right? And actually that was their discredited by society in a way because they cannot explain what they're doing, even though they can be able to execute. But the majority of people, if they cannot understand it in their mind, they don't accept it.
Right.
They cannot accept the medicine that comes from it. And I really felt that I really have. Can you imagine a mind that has no memory has to explain everything in quantum? I mean, come on. This is the part of the miracles of this work is you have to rewire your entire brain,
Yes.
your entire cells to emerge into that field of different realms and to make sense,
Mm.
right? In all levels, right? My heart knows, right? But my mind cannot understand the logic of it. But it said you cannot work that way. You really have to be fully enlightened into this.